Hello, this is Ned.
And this is Michelle.
And we are myphilippinedreams.com. Welcome to our third Wednesday weekly wrap-up, where we recount some of the things that we've been doing and our misadventures in the Philippines. And boy, do we have a bunch of misadventures this week. Yeah. First off, on the ride, we went up to Mabini this weekend, and on the ride back from Mabini, we hit a series of bumps and my lower back went out. My lower back goes out every now and then. It hasn't gone out for a long time. And so basically since Monday, today's Thursday, I've basically been stuck in the house, can barely move, can barely walk. It's not a pleasant place to be. If you got lower lumbar back pain, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It pretty much sucks. But it's getting, every day gets a little bit better, and we're both kind of under the weather. Michelle's dealing with dizziness. Yeah, a little bit of vertigo going on. So that's the latest on the medical news. And the other medical update is the staph infection I have seems to be completely cleared up, knock on wood. Weather, it is rainy season, but it's not really rainy season, it's more like cloudy and showery season. The 2 days we were in Mabini, we had some good weather up there.
Yes.
That was pretty nice.
Yes.
And pretty much like today has been alternating between sunny and showery. We just had some thunder earlier, but now the sun's out, so you really can't make sense of it. It's actually kind of like being in New England, because New England in the USA has a reputation for unpredictable weather. Neighbor update.
Yeah, that should be interesting.
Yeah, had another encounter with our crazy American neighbor the other day. Michelle had come home from work and she was, trying to sleep, and he started blasting his music, and I just went over and, very respectfully, because you got to wear kid gloves because he's bipolar and has PTSD. I basically said, William, I just want to remind you, Michelle just got home from work and she's trying to get some sleep. And he went off. He went crazy. He started saying, F you, F this, you need to find a different place to live, you got to break your lease. I had to do that in Manila. She needs to quit her job or find a job where she works during the day, because I don't blast my music at night, which I do appreciate. Tom, I think that's what we're calling him, right? Tom, yeah. So he went he's like, you're a control freak, you're not going to tell me what to do, blah, 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 blah. And I maintained decorum and said, well, I just thought I'd talk to you about it, but I can see that you're very upset. And so he's just impossible to deal with. I mean, I have two options at this point. Well, we got a bunch of options. We could move, or I could punch him in the nose. And if he was actually younger, and if he wasn't physically disabled, in addition to having bipolar and PTSD, I probably would punch him in the nose. But I really can't do that. So, and you can get away with stuff like that in the Philippines. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if it's foreigner on foreigner, they just gotta laugh about it and don't care. But if it's like foreigner and Filipino, yeah, it might be a problem. So that's the neighbor update. I mean, he's been okay since then. He might have realized afterwards, how much of an ass he was, but it's all good. So we went up to Mabini. And what'd you think?
You tell them.
It was pretty much our greatest misadventure ever. Anything and everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. It was just a complete S show. It was just insane. I mean, the ride up there and the ride back are very scenic. They're very nice. But as usual in the Philippines, and I love you Philippines, I love your country, I love your people, love everything basically about it, except your lack of signs. There's no signs. And if you go to Google Maps and stuff and you try to find out information about Mabini, it's either out of date or it's non-existent. So we got lost a bunch of times. I think the trip was only supposed to be 150 kilometers, and we ended up doing 220 kilometers. So about 70 kilometers of that was just getting lost. The roads are really bad. It was very scenic, and we're going to get into depth on just how much of a misadventure it was, but at one point we went to a resort, we checked in, they said there was brownout, and we later found out that there wasn't brownout, that the resort hadn't had electricity or water for weeks, if not months, and we're just basically lying and trying to shiest people out of 1,000 pesos. We got our money back on that. And then we eventually did find the caves, right? We saw some wildlife.
Yes, we did.
Did we see any snakes?
Please no.
No, we didn't see any snakes. Michelle was happy about that. We saw a monitor lizard.
Yes, we did.
And those monitor lizards get big. We saw spiders.
Bats.
We saw bats, lots of bats, and swallows that were nesting in the caves and all that. And we saw the three different caves were the courting cave, the courtship cave,
the marriage.
the marriage cave, and the annulment cave.
Which that cave?
The divorce cave. What do they call that? The honeymoon cave?
Honeymoon.
Honeymoon cave. So that was kind of cool seeing that stuff. But then on the way back, my back went out, so hey.
He was grumpy.
I was very grumpy, and I've been grumpy since. I mean, you know, I talk about you got to adjust, you got to adapt, you got to accept it for what it is, bahala na, and all this stuff. But there comes a certain point in the day. We also got flat tires. I mean, anything that could have gone wrong went wrong. We almost got killed by that white van.
Yes.
Okay, so you can bahala na, and I can say all this stuff, and you know, oh, you got to adapt, you got to adjust. But when it comes down to it, there's only so much of the Philippines I can take in one day, and I reached my quota that day pretty early. So
yeah,
it's difficult. So yeah, Philippines. If you could do signs would be great. So you know where the caves are, where the waterfalls are, where the springs are, where the resorts are. Maps. Oh, and if you could open your tourist office. Remember they sent us to the tourist office,
yeah,
and it was closed Monday. It was closed. That would be great. Also, if you could turn down the heat and the humidity just a little bit, I'd like that too, but I don't know how reasonable that is. Past week's videos, what did we do?
Sibulan.
Yes, we took a ride out to Sibulan to check out the effects of Mother Nature. And I really like that ride because it's really close to the city. It's about 5 minutes from where we live.
I think so.
Yeah, it's just, you know, it's really close. And when you cross that metal bridge, it's like you're in the province. There's carabaos waiting in the mud and all kinds of stuff. And then you get to the bridge that doesn't exist anymore. And you get to see the effects of Mother Nature. And again, I hope to God I never have to see a natural catastrophe here because it gets serious. It's not like the U.S. where we'll have like a 3.2 earthquake and everybody will be like, ooh. All right, this stuff is serious here. We also did a video on doing your research in case you're deciding to live, work, move, retire to the Philippines, making sure you put in the work, the blood, sweat, and tears necessary to, you know, have a full appreciation of the positives and the negatives of the Philippines because, you know, it's stuff on both sides. We also did the video on the lechon dinner.
At Peter's.
At Peter and Daisy's, yes. And that was delicious.
It was.
And you can actually see the caterers that did the catering for them in the Sibulan video and went by that other place because they had the same tablecloths and bunting and all that stuff. And Peter also put together, and it took him a couple of years to put this together, the boxing fundraiser. And actually got some more footage of the kids, you know, punching each other in the face that we're going to be putting up at some point. And we're also going to do a little garden update. I'll bring the camera out afterwards and just give you a look at what's going on with the garden. Some of our cucumber plants have survived. They're growing faster than the orange beetles and snails can eat them. Even though I do the snail relocation program, I go out, because I have insomnia, so I wake up like every 2 hours, and I just go out there and I grab these are snails like this. They're huge. And I just throw them over the fence to our neighbor, because he's a big horticulturalist. So the garden's looking pretty good.
Yeah.
We still have no idea what we're doing. We put together this really chintzy trellis for the cucumbers because I don't know if they're going to survive, so I don't want to put a whole lot of money and effort into it. So I basically just nailed some bamboo together for that. So we'll show you that. And one last thing, I know some people have been mentioning the fisheye. With the GoPro, if I do 1080p with medium, so there's no fisheye, it's just too difficult. The files are too big for my poor little computer to process. So we have to do 220, and we have to do it with a little bit of fisheye. I'm learning how to move slower so the effect isn't as abrupt. But if you have a GoPro and you've gotten, you know a quick and easy way to do it without the fisheye, we do remove the fish, try to remove it in Cineform, but it doesn't get rid of all of it. Just let me know. Anything else? Did I miss anything?
I don't think so.
What did you make last night? What did you cook?
Menudo.
Yes, menudo. And the menudo was delicious, and we're having leftovers tonight, right? Is there any left? All right, so we're going out to eat tonight. McDonald's. Yeah, I want some French fries. So that's about it. This is our third installment of our Wednesday weekly wrap-up. Hope you're all well. If you like the channel, subscribe. If you have any questions, any comments, anything you'd like to leave it down in the comments section. Till next time, this is Ned.
And this is Michelle.
We are My Philippine Dreams, and we'll see you next time. Okay, so this is what the garden's looking like now. We got all the okra up front. We had to splint this guy because a palm frond fell and smushed it. So it's like splinted up, hanging on to dear life. And there is the cucumbers. See the orange beetles? They're so evil. Bad orange beetle. And the green beans. And they seem to be doing okay. Again, we have no idea what we're doing, so just kind of learning as we go. If you have any suggestions, leave them down in the comment section. This is Ned with your horticultural update on the Wednesday weekly wrap-up. See you next time.